is just fantastic.
Hello everyone, welcome to the exhibition of stupid people. Today we're going to start with sexist foot sizes. I know it's not the most exciting topic, but let's say it's short enough that we can consider it a minor topic before we move on to something slightly more juicy. For this, we insert a video clip that was shared on the Tic Tacs.
This two-gender thing is just, it's getting totally out of control. This weekend I was getting shoes. I was at the mall getting shoes, and I got these shoes, okay? I bring them up to the worker. I was like, hey, could I get an 8.5 in this? And they were like, sorry, do you mean 8.5 in men's or women's? Men's or women's? Really? Like, my feet, my freaking feet can't even be non-binary. My feet don't even have genitals, okay? So, it's just crazy. This is what you all voted for, so I hope you're happy.
When I was a teenager, I got an occupation, briefly, taking over from my older sister working for a shoe shop in Leatherhead called Stead & Simpson. Something of note when it came to men's and women's sizes, but it wasn't just the length of the foot you had to consider, the width as well, and the depth of the foot. I myself have quite large feet, quite wide feet, quite deep feet that need arch support, right? So I'm not stupid enough to think, oh, I can rock Converses. No. When they asked you because you identify as non-binary, it's because we don't generally do unisex shoes that much. Men's and women's feet are vastly different. Women's feet typically are narrower and smaller to men's feet. The average foot size for a woman is typically between 7 to 9. For men, 9 to 12. That is the average, right? This does not take into account, again, the width of the foot. Also, men's shoes are usually a bit harder, a bit firmer, because we walk through our shoes a lot more often. It's just a trait men possess, okay? We apply our weight a different way to how women walk. If you're non-binary, that's totally fine, but you have to accept the biological difference here. You can still wear a similar style, but you have to have one that's more catered to the genetics. Shoes, much like many things, don't acknowledge or care so much for morals or identity. They only care that you wear them, because shoes have feelings, everyone. Yes, I'd like all the Fs in the comments for the poor defenseless shoes that were clearly harmed in the making of this video. Moving on, let's go to an honourable mention, an actual honourable mention, a video shared to the Twitters of an individual getting their 5 a day in a creative way, and this gives me an opportunity to use a video I haven't used in a long time. Because yes, somebody really believed themselves an innovator by making the following.
Stop using ice in your drinks and instead use frozen vegetables. For the new year, I'm trying to eat healthier, so I just add frozen vegetables into my freezer, and every time I have a drink, I use these vegetables instead of ice. It makes it a great way to get in my daily vegetables without even noticing.
I have no issue with people wanting to have frozen vegetables in their water. I really don't care. It's essentially you've just made yourself a smoothie without the blending, right? It's how I usually have a smoothie. It's usually frozen fruit in a thing, because fresh is more expensive. It's a tough time to everyone. The cost of living has gone right up. Have you seen the price of eggs? This pretentiousness is a common problem I've seen doing its rounds for a long time, and it's going to lead on, by the way, to another pretentious twerp who we're going to sink our teeth into first. Ashton Hall.
About the Lord's business.
I'm not gonna lie, I love that many people who replied to this talk about how this kind of lifestyle is a bit of a luxury when it comes to maintaining your health, looking and being as bestest as you can be, right? This is, yes, of course, a fair use interjection. You're all welcome. He's not done, and I want to show more of it before we go to the responses. Yes, enough of that cringe. I know that there are some people, like Dwayne Johnson is known for this, who live a very active life and maintain it. Now, of course, in the case of Dwayne, there's still the belief that Dwayne is taking something, because at his age, it's not likely he is natural. But that is a speculation. I'm not, of course, going to outright state he's on anything, like sherbet, of the steroid variety. Now, this video, and many others, were memed to high hell, right? One looking like Patrick Bateman, who's now on the screen, as you can see. But it was also memed by the likes of Logan Paul.
Yeah, it's got to be at least 10 billion.
It was memed by Andrew Tate. It was memed by a granny. It was memed in a lecture hall.
Looking at the board, we gotta get to at least 10,000.
And it was memed by whatever this is. On the face of it, this has garnered a lot of attention as a meme because it could well be a lifestyle. It could also be just somebody promoting products like that water brand. It really could be. It could be a Poe, it could not be a Poe. I actually couldn't tell you in this day and age of the internet what is real and what is not anymore. Since one of those does like to talk about the Matrix, it's highly possible this is one of those instances. When you farm for clicks by creating something like this and setting it up in such a way, it makes you look like a pretentious twerp. A sad, lonely virgin that lives alone and has nothing going on in their life, because all we see is you preparing to do bits and bobs for yourself and only yourself. A shallow, hollow, vapid existence. That is how it can be interpreted. It could also be interpreted as expensive. Seriously, have you ever considered just an all-in-one? Or just a shower with some soap? Seriously, age gracefully. It's not overly difficult. Honourable mention before we move on to the next subject of Prince Harry, concerning an individual not feeling safe and requiring a safe space from the cis women. I do believe this will serve as a suitable palate cleanse before we move on to the Duke of Blech.
Hot take. I want a safe space from cis women. How about that? What if I wanted a safe space away from cis women? Who are gonna do hella microaggressions and make me feel incredibly uncomfortable and just generally sometimes ruin the vibe. No shade to some of y'all. Some of y'all are absolutely lovely.
The bathroom discussion is hardly going to go anywhere anytime soon. Executive orders are being signed left, right and centre, and many people believe that this is an extincted thing, right? I don't really care personally. I'm not overly fond of unisex bathrooms, I never have been, and that doesn't mean I'm going to be anti against anyone having them. I do believe if you're going to start espousing the requirement to have a safe space away from the very people you believe yourself to be a part of, then you are creating the problem that then makes you the problem, right? As opposed to being inclusive and accepting and welcome, you are making an issue that doesn't need to exist. So moving on to Prince Harry, because reasons. In 2006, in honour of his mother Princess Diana, Prince Harry set up Centabali, a charity to help children and young people in southern Africa with HIV and AIDS. A commendable and admirable thing to do. Not so long ago, an individual called Sophie Chandauka was appointed to chairwoman, and that was, well, an appointment that he was a part of. She being from Zimbabwe, it seemed only right. The charity was moving its business operations in South Africa, and this caused a number of problems with the trustees, many of whom took issue with Sophie, so they started, Sophie that is, to espouse the belief of misogyny and blah, basically every buzzword accusing them of bullying, harassment, sexism, racism, and the other fancier way of saying misogyny towards women, or black women, which is a weird one, but alright, we'll allow that. Is it misogynoir? Something like that? Yes. Prince Harry co-founded this charity. Prince Harry was a patron of this charity. Prince Harry supported most of it, in fact. He was actively involved in this charity for a long time. His DEI hire is the one that screwed him over. I'm not saying you're involved in poor decisions, but this one tickled me to no end. Although, it is believed USAID might have had something to do with the mass exodus at the charity as well. There is, however, another side to this, and that is Sophie Chandauka's own statement on this, a direct reference to Prince Harry being associated with Prince Swiso, SWISO, where she had said, "There are people in this world who behave as though they are above the law and mistreat people, and then play the victim card and use the very press they disdain to harm people who have the courage to challenge their conduct." Well, because beneath all the victim narrative and fiction that has been syndicated to press is the story of a woman who dared to blow the whistle about issues of poor governance, weak executive management, abuse of power, bullying, harassment, misogyny, misogynoir, and the cover-up that ensued. Naturally, we don't actually know what really happened, because that's information, isn't it? And we don't get that. Instead, we get turd flinging. Can't finish the full idiom there because I get into trouble. But basically, that's what we get. For me, it's a much simpler thing. Harry done goofed, Harry quit. A charity that he set up in honour of his mother. A quitter attitude. Interesting take. The trustees don't support Sophie, tried to get rid of her, failed miserably. So I fully expect this charity to either thrive under the governance of this individual, or inevitably crash. Yeah. I'm not sure which one I want more though, because, there are innocent children involved in this who need that support, need that help that this charity's supposed to offer, but then bureaucrat's gonna bureaucrat, right? Yeah. To the final thing I'd like to show you in this video is a clip of an individual doing the Tesla protest thing. Now, many have seen clips undoubtedly of dealerships on fire, people smashing them up. How about this one? Well, at least it's creative, I'll give you that. This individual has since been arrested and charged. May I just say, you can hate a manufacturer, you can hate an individual, but these protests look pointless, they look shallow, and they do show the obvious, let's say, intolerance towards disagreement. You can hate Elon Musk, but you don't have to hate the product of Tesla. Thinking it hurts his wallet is absolutely pathetic, considering the number of businesses he's a part of and how wealthy he actually is. Now, as we are finished, I'd love to know what you all think. Do let me know in the comments down below. If I don't see you on Twitch later tonight, have a wonderful day, and thank you all very much for listening.